For 18 years, she lived with her 3 children without saying a single word. Not like she was deaf or dumb. She cooked, she cleaned, she walked them to school. She sat with them during sickness. But not even once did she speak. Nobody have ever heard her voice, not even her own children. Her first child, Obi, was 18 years old, the same number of years she had been silent. He was tired, angry, and confused. One evening he shouted, "Are you even our real mother?" Mama Obi didn't answer. She only blinked and slowly wiped a tear from her cheek. Her second child, Amaka, was 14, quiet, observant, and afraid. Deep inside, she feared that one day she too might lose her voice like Mama. The youngest, Emeka, was just 8 years old. He didn't understand everything, but he always tried to make Mama laugh. He would do silly dances, wear her headscarf, or draw funny cartoons. But Mama never laughed. She never smiled either. She just stared into space like someone stuck in a memory too deep to escape. Their house was quiet, too quiet. Outside, the village was full of noise and life. Children played, women sold vegetables, radios played high life music. But inside Mama Obi's house, there was only the sound of pots, footsteps, and breathing. She left them notes. She nodded when they spoke. She wept sometimes behind closed doors, but her lips remained sealed. The villagers had plenty to say. Some whispered, "That woman is cursed." Others said, "Her husband's death broke her." And some believed she's not mad, she's hiding something. But no one really knew the truth. One day, Obi came home from the football field and said, "Uncle Ifeanyi told me Mama used to sing for Papa every night before he died." That one sentence broke something in the air. Amaka froze. Emeka looked confused. If Mama used to sing, then she had a voice. That evening, clouds gathered. The wind howled, thunder rolled across the sky, and then rain started to fall. It was heavy, angry, and loud. Suddenly, Mama Obi rushed to the window. She stood there, stiff, frozen, her eyes fixed on something outside. Raindrops hit the glass like tiny drums. But Mama didn't blink. She just stood there staring. 30 minutes passed, she didn't move. Just tears sliding down her cheeks one after another. Amaka noticed first. She walked close and whispered, "Mommy?" No reply. Then Emeka walked towards her gently. "Mommy, say something, please." But Mama didn't move. She stared into the rain as if she was seeing someone. Then her lips moved, but no sound came out, just air. Suddenly, she turned and ran to her room, slammed the door, locked it fast. The children froze. Obi stood up from his seat. What just happened? Amaka whispered. What did she see? No one knew. But from that moment, they felt it. Something had returned with the rain. Something Mama Obi had spent 18 years trying to forget. That's how Obi, Amaka, and Emeka felt that night. Mama Obi's door was locked. Her eyes had looked scared. She had run inside as if something or someone was chasing her in the rain. They didn't hear a word from her. Not a cough, not a whisper, not even her quiet footsteps. Obi knocked. "Mama, are you there? Are you okay?" No answer. He tried again, harder. "Mama, please open. Say something, anything at all." But still, there was silence. Emeka sat by the door and began to draw again. This time, he drew Mama in the rain with a shadow beside her. He didn't know why, but something inside him told him, Mama saw something or someone in that rain. The next day, before sunrise, Obi went to the back of the house to fetch water. There, by the mango tree, he saw Uncle Ifeanyi, their late father's younger brother. "Uncle," Obi called out, "can I ask you something?" Uncle Ifeanyi dropped his calabash and sat on a wooden stool. His eyes were heavy, his voice low. "What is it, my son?" he asked. Obi swallowed hard. "Did Mama ever lose someone before Papa died?" Uncle Ifeanyi didn't answer immediately. He looked at the sky, then said, "Something Obi will never forget. Your mama didn't just lose someone, Obi. She lost herself." He continued, "Years ago, before you were even born, Mama Obi was full of life. She used to dance, sing and laugh with your father Arinze. But one rainy night, he died. People said he slipped and drowned near the stream, but not everyone believed it. Obi's heart beat faster. Uncle Ifeanyi leaned closer. That night, your mama screamed for help, but by the time we got there, your papa was gone. Some villagers accused your mama of pushing him. They said she was jealous, that she argued with him. Some even said it was a sacrifice." Obi's mouth opened slightly. "That's not true, right?" Uncle Ifeanyi shrugged sadly. "Nobody knows what happened except your mama and the rain." Meanwhile, inside the house, Amaka had found a tiny rusted key under Mama's bed. One Emeka had seen fall when she rushed into her room. It looked old and forgotten. Emeka whispered, "Let's try it." The key didn't fit the door, but it fit Mama's big wooden box in the corner of the room, the one she never allowed anyone to touch. Emeka nodded. "Maybe it will help us understand." They turned the key slowly. Click! Inside were dusty papers, black and white photographs, and something wrapped in faded clothes. Amaka opened it. A diary with Mama's name on the first page. They opened a random page, day 94 after Arinze died. I don't know how to explain what I saw that night. The rain was loud. He walked ahead of me. Then he turned back, looked at me and shouted something I couldn't hear. A woman stepped out from the trees. I screamed. He slipped. I reached for him, but he was gone. Amaka looked up after reading the book. A woman? Emeka whispered, "What woman?" Then they turned the next page, but the ink had smeared. Only a name was visible. Ekemma. Suddenly, a sound came from behind. The children jumped. Mama Obi stood at the door, pale and shaking. Her lips quivered. She looked at the open box, then at her children. Gogo stood up and walked closely to her. He stretched his hand and whispered, "Mama, don't cry." Mama Obi dropped to her knees. Tears ran down her face. And then, for the first time in a long time, she opened her mouth and said, "It wasn't me." The children froze. Her voice was hoarse, like someone who hadn't spoken in forever, but the words were clear. Amaka hugged her tightly. Obinna, standing at the door, wiped his eyes without realizing it. Mama Obi looked at them and whispered again, "I didn't kill your father." "She did. Her name is Ekemma." Obi's breath caught in his chest. Amaka stared at Mama's lips, as if hearing her speak again would break a curse. Emeka slowly sat beside her on the floor. "Mama," he whispered gently, "who is Ekemma?" Mama Obi looked at her children. Her voice was weak, but her eyes full of pain. "She was my best friend," she said. Her voice cracked again. "She stood beside me on my wedding day. She danced with me, laughed with me, ate in my kitchen." Then she paused. "But she hated me and I didn't know why." The room was quiet. Even the wind outside had stopped. Then she continued. "That night, when your father and I walked home from the village festival, it started to rain. We took the bush paths, the shortcut beside the stream. Arinze, your father, walked ahead, singing. I stayed behind to fix my wrapper. Suddenly, Ekemma stepped out from the trees. I don't know where she came from. She looked at me with red eyes, and before I could speak, she whispered, 'If I can't have him, no one will.'" Amaka gasped. Obi stepped closer, fist clenched. Mama's voice dropped lower. "She pushed him." I screamed. I tried to hold him. I begged Ekemma to help me, but she just disappeared into the bush. Obi couldn't believe it. "All these years and you didn't tell anyone?" Mama nodded slowly. "Who would have believed me? Everyone loved Ekemma. She left the village the next day. I was left alone. People accused me. They said I killed the man I loved. That night, my voice left me just like that. Amaka held her hand tightly. Mama, we believe you. Emeka asked, where is Ekemma now? Mama shook her head. No one knows. She vanished after that night. Obi stood up. His mind was racing. We have to find her. The truth must come out. Mama looked frightened. No, some truths are better buried. But Obi was already thinking ahead. That afternoon, while Mama rested, Obi went to Uncle Ifeanyi again. Uncle, do you know anyone called Ekemma? Uncle Ifeanyi froze. He didn't speak for a long time. Then he stood up, walked to a shelf and brought down an old photograph. Is this her? He asked. Obi looked. It was a group photo from the village festival 18 years ago. And there she was, a tall woman with piercing eyes, standing beside Mama and Papa. That's her, Obi said. Uncle Ifeanyi nodded slowly. She was the daughter of the herbalist by the river. People feared her mother, said she knew things that humans shouldn't know. After the night Arinze died, she left, but I heard a whisper. Obi leaned in. What whisper, Uncle? Uncle Ifeanyi lowered his voice. They say she's still alive. Living alone in the old house past the stream, the villagers call her the river widow. Obi's heart skipped. That was just a few miles from their home. Back at the house, Mama Obi began to tremble again. She sat outside watching the clouds. The sky was changing, dark clouds rolling in again. Amaka came and knelt beside her. Mama, are you okay? Mama whispered, she knows you now. Ekemma, she knows you are looking for her. Amaka stared at her. But Mama, how would she know? Mama didn't answer. She just looked towards the river. Because evil will always hear footsteps when truth is coming. The next day, Obinna did not even tell Mama. He didn't even tell Amaka or Emeka. He just wore his slippers, took a bottle of water and walked into the bush path. The same one Mama had described, the one that led to the stream. And beyond it, to the house of the woman they now called the river widow. As he walked, the trees thickened, the sound of birds faded. Even the air smelled different, wet like something old. But Obi didn't stop. He followed the path until he saw it. A small hut, hidden under tall palm trees. The windows were covered with dark clothes. No sign of life, but something told him she was inside. He stood still. Then he stepped closer. Hello, he called out. There was no answer. Is there anyone else? He said, and still nothing. He turned to leave, but a voice from behind the tree whispered, you shouldn't be here, young boy. Obi jumped. A woman stepped out, slow, careful, like a shadow sliding out of the wall. She was tall. Her skin was dark like roasted yam. Her eyes were sharp, not angry, just watching. You are Arinze's son, she said. Obi froze. How do you know that? The woman stepped closer. Because you look just like him, she said. It was her, Ekemma, the woman Mama Obi feared, the woman who vanished, the woman by the river. Obi's hand trembled. I come to ask about my father, he said. And what you did to him? Ekemma smiled sadly. You think I killed him? Obi didn't speak. Ekemma looked at the sky. The rain that night, it wasn't meant to carry him. It was meant to carry your mother. Obi's heart dropped. What? She nodded slowly. I want her to stay away from him. Arinze was supposed to marry me. Our families arranged it, but he broke tradition. He said he loved your mother and I became invisible. Obi clenched his fist. So you tried to kill her? Ekemma's voice dropped. Yes, but fate is a strange thing. The ground slipped under his feet before I could touch her. He fell. I watched, and when I saw his hand disappear under the water, I knew I had lost. Obi stepped back. You let him drown. Ekemma didn't answer. She just turned and walked back into her hut. As she opened the door, She said quietly, "Tell your mother that her silence was her punishment. But now it's mine, because I see him every time it rains." Obi couldn't speak. His feet turned, and he ran all the way home. By the time he returned, the sky had turned dark. Rain had started again, but this time, Mama Obi was not by the window. She was sitting on the floor, crying openly. Beside her were Amaka and Emeka holding her hands. Obi stood in the doorway, soaked with rain. "Mama," he said, "I saw her." Mama Obi looked up slowly. "You saw Ekema?" Obi nodded. She said the river took the wrong person. Mama closed her eyes. After a moment, she opened them and said, "Then the river is not done speaking." Obi frowned. Amaka whispered, "What does that mean?" Mama looked at all of them, then stood up, walked to the door, and stepped out into the rain for the first time in many years. She turned towards the bush paths. "I'm going back to where it ended, so I can speak freely again." That was the day Mama Obi left the house and walked the same path where everything ended, many years ago. She didn't carry a bag. She didn't take an umbrella, just her wrapper, tied tightly around her chest, and her pain. Obi, Amaka, and Emeka followed behind. They didn't ask where they were going. They already knew. As they walked, the trees closed around them. The leaves dripped. The path was wet and silent. Even the birds seemed to know something was coming. Mama Obi's foot stopped at the edge of the stream. The water moved slowly, calm like it has forgotten the man it swallowed many years ago. She knelt down, touched the water with her right hand, and whispered, "Arinze." Her children stood back, quiet. Then she stood up, looked around and said, "This is where I died, but kept breathing." She turned to her children. "For years, I lived with a voice full of stories, but silence became my prison. I was afraid if I spoke, I would break, so I locked the words inside." Amaka stepped forward. "Mama, you can speak now. We are here." Mama looked at the stream again. Suddenly, a voice came from behind. "You should not have come." Standing near the tree was Ekema, still tall, still calm, but her eyes were swollen, this time not from pride, but from years of pain. "Mama," Obi whispered, stepping in front of her. But Mama Obi raised a hand gently. She took a deep breath, and for the first time in nearly 2 decades, she stood face to face with her past. Ekema stepped closer. The rain washed her bare feet. Her lips trembled. "You came," she said. Mama Obi nodded. "I had to. I left my voice here the day you left me with the blame for a man we both loved." Ekema looked down. "I was jealous," she said. "I let bitterness grow roots inside me. And when Arinze chose you, something inside me broke." She looked up again, tears falling. "I didn't push him, I swear. He slipped. But when I saw him drowning, I froze. I didn't help. I watched." Obi's fist clenched. "And you couldn't save him?" he said. Ekema's voice cracked. "I could have, but I didn't. I wanted him to disappear. I wanted you to suffer like I did." Mama Obi stepped closer. Her wrapper soaked, her body shaking, but her voice steady. "You succeeded. I suffered, but I never hated you. I feared you. I feared your silence more than I feared your voice." Ekema dropped to her knees. "I don't expect forgiveness," she whispered. Mama Obi looked up to the sky, letting the rain wash her face like cleansing water. Then she said, "I forgive you, but I will never forget, and that is enough." Ekema sobbed into her palms. The children watched silently, tears in their eyes, hearts full of questions. Then slowly, Mama Obi turned to them. "I have a voice again because I faced what silenced me." She took Emeka's hand, then Amaka, then Obi, and together they began the long walk home, not just from the river, but from the past. The rain had stopped, the clouds were clearing, and Mama Obi, she was speaking again, not just with her mouth, but with her healing, and her children enjoyed their mother more than ever before. And that was how the story ended. Now, the moral of this story is this: when pain is buried, it becomes silence, but when truth is faced, healing begins. Never let fear steal your voice, and never allow silence to protect a lie. Silence may hide the pain, but it cannot heal it. Healing begins when we speak. The truth may take time, but it always finds its way back, like rain falling on dry land. Jealousy can destroy more than friendships. It can steal futures and silence hearts. When we don't confront our past, it follows us into the future. Your voice is your power. Never let pain take it away. Forgiveness doesn't erase the wound, but it frees the soul. Children grow, but they never stop needing answers. Tell them the truth. Sometimes, the loudest cries are the ones no one hears. Listen to the silence. It takes strength to stay quiet, but it takes even greater courage to speak up after the silence. Not all storms destroy, some come to wash away old secrets and make space for new beginnings. Thank you so much for listening to my story. My name is Onyi of Onyi Stories and Folktales, and please, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, kindly click on the subscribe button, turn on the notifications so when I post more stories and interesting life lesson filled stories like this, you'll be the first to get them. And if you're a returning subscriber, hey, thank you so much for always coming back. I sincerely appreciate you. I do not take your support for granted. Thank you so much. You are the real MVP. And trust me when I say I have loads and loads of interesting stories on my channel that you will love. So please take a popcorn, relax, and enjoy different stories on my channel. You will love them. And until I see you again in my next story, take care of yourself. Bye.